Hello.
Hi. Trying a new thing.
Which is what?
Hi.
Okay.
Very excited.
You don't
Greetings.
sound excited.
Hi.
How was your week?
Great week.
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
You don't?
No.
We were so
weekend.
productive.
Holiday weekend.
I know, but we had such a productive week. The kids started school. You got over your jet lag. You got up every morning at like 5:30 a.m.
That's every day.
Yeah.
Every day is like this now.
So you came
You
back
too
from
can
India?
wake up early. Wait, didn't we cover all this on the last episode, or am I still? Oh, did I just come back? Are you replacing episodes? You're putting this one first?
No, I'm not.
Oh, I had a great trip. Oh, I'm tired.
You've barely been back, like not even a full week.
Oh, I have been back a week?
Not
Why are you confusing me?
I'm just speaking.
When did I get back?
I didn't understand.
Did another episode go out already since I've returned, or this is the first one?
No, another episode has gone up since you've returned. And
So
all
who's
we're
still
doing
jet
is
lag a week later?
having a conversation. We're just speaking English.
But why would I still be jet lagged?
You
I thought
are.
were
You're
doing
getting
that
up
thing.
at 5:30 in the morning. You've never done that before
I
in your
do that
entire
all
life.
the time.
You have never done
You
that.
don't know because you're sleeping.
No.
I get up, I have a whole other life, then I come back to the room.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you do in your whole
Farming.
other life? Oh, okay.
You didn't know this. You had no idea. For
'Cause
all
you're a
these years,
farmer?
I've been farming in the mornings.
Okay. What do you farm?
Nothing. I'm not good at it. Been trying. Nothing has happened. Weeds, apparently, is what I farm.
Okay. Welcome back to another episode of Sheena
Trids
Interrupted.
here.
You're very weird.
Trids here.
We're in a weird mood today. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
That's my name.
Tridzier?
Trids here.
Tridzier.
It's like that hosier.
Yeah.
Trids
Spell
here.
it?
Tridzier.
Okay.
Tridzier.
Okay. So today, I was very inspired by what happened
Who's
this
here?
past week.
It's
What?
pronounced Hoosier.
Who's
Yeah.
Hosier.
Yeah. Like knock knock.
Who's there?
No, Hoosier. You know that joke?
No.
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
His favorite joke. He says knock knock. You have to say who's here.
And then he says, it's me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Him and Jason Derulo should do a song together.
Oh, because when you...
One just keeps singing his own name.
Yeah.
Jason Derulo. No, it's Hoosier. Hoosier. Yes. No, Jason Derulo. Never mind.
No.
You had to be there.
Okay.
They did this at church.
Can we move
Yeah,
on?
I'm waiting for you.
Okay. So our kids went back to school this week.
That's why you want to go to church?
No.
Sing that line.
Take me to church, I'll worship like a dog at the shrine of your lies. I'll tell you my sins
At
so
the
you
shrine
can
of your
sharpen
lies?
your knife.
Who sharpens a knife? What is this man on?
I don't know.
The man did a whole song about a dog sharpening knives at church
Yeah.
and lying.
It's crazy.
Then he did another song about sleeping at 3 a.m. drinking whiskey.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Yeah, he's great.
He's so
His
good.
songs are really good. What he's saying, nobody understands.
He's
He's
just-
going troubled times. This guy's on LSD, I think.
Or maybe
I wanna
he's
meet
doing
him.
some deep soul searching.
I want to meet him.
Okay.
I want to do deep soul searching with him.
Okay. On LSD?
No.
Okay.
Who's he?
Who's here?
No, we're friends.
Oh, you call him Who's now?
Who's he? Yeah.
Okay.
Me, him, and that other guy,
Which other guy?
Boozy. You know, I was at the bar with Whoozy when Boozy started singing. You know that? It's really
you
weird.
were everywhere. All
You know
the time.
you know Boozy's song?
Yeah. Shabuzi.
I mean, Boozy to me and Whoozy.
Yeah.
Shabuzi to you.
Can we move on?
Do you know his song?
Yeah. Someone pour me up a double shot of whiskey.
Whoozy
They
poured
know
it.
me and Black Daniels got a history.
Black Daniels.
Jack Daniels.
Jack
There's
Daniels.
a party downtown near Fifth Street. Everybody at the bar getting tipsy.
Me and Whoozy.
You and
We're
Whoozy
getting
are
tipsy with Boozy.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was next morning was rough.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Okay.
now that I've explained to you what I've been up to
Thank you.
with Whoozy, Boozy,
And?
Trazier.
So last
So what have
week,
you been up to?
our kids started school again.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
I was wondering where they went.
Zara started middle school.
Yes.
And Zara now has health class. Did you know
She has
that?
health class.
She has health class. And so she came home this Wednesday and she was telling me all about health class and the things that she thinks she's going to learn.
She can teach that class. Because the stuff I think you're thinking about, they don't teach until like grade 7.
She knows a lot already.
Yes.
And I thought it would be fun to talk about how and why she knows these things.
Yes.
And I thought it would be interesting to talk about this concept of having these kinds of conversations with your kids or with your, sometimes it's just having hard conversations. Like I didn't want it to be specific to kids. In our case, it's specific to kids. But how do you have hard conversations?
Why did the conversation have to be hard?
Because sometimes they're uncomfortable for certain people.
That's
or
fun
sometimes,
for me.
Yeah, I know it is.
And have uncomfortable conversations with other people.
I know.
The secret is to keep a straight face.
Yeah.
And to lean into the silence.
Okay. Like now?
And then they'll talk.
Okay.
They'll react.
No, but not all kids will react. Like some of them don't want to talk. Sometimes I've tried having conversations with Jay and he's like, "Oh God, this again?" And he rolls his eyes and he's like, "Mama, I don't want to talk about this." Like how do you have? But I think it's important that both parents have these conversations with both sets of kids.
Come on.
Like I don't particularly believe that you have to have the conversations with the boy and I have to have the conversations with the girl. I think it's important that both parents have conversations with both sets of kids.
I agree with that, but physiologically, I'm better equipped for one conversation and absolutely not equipped for the other.
Sure.
To a certain extent. So I want them to both feel comfortable to be able to approach either of us or whoever it is that they have, access to if they have concerns. But I would not in any way feel bad if Zara leaned on you
100%
for certain guidance and information. I wouldn't feel left out, put it that way.
I don't feel left out either. My point is, I just think it's important for them to know that they could come to either one of us if they were in a position where they had to.
In the word of my good friend, call mummy. You know which friend I'm talking about?
I know which friend you're talking about.
Yes. So sometimes you have to call mummy.
You think
and sometimes you have to call daddy.
Have you ever called mummy?
Me?
To answer your questions and have your hard conversations?
Hard? I don't think I've had hard conversations, really.
How did those hard conversations go with your mummy?
I never had them. With either of them.
I know. But I think it's important to have these conversations. Like, how come our parents didn't have those conversations?
Oh, you didn't either?
No, my dad tried to have that conversation with me when we were engaged.
Too late.
He was like, so, before
you should know. I know you haven't watched The Simpsons, and that's where this is all taught. So now I have to fill you in.
But why don't we have these conversations? Like, why have we made them so uncomfortable?
I don't think they are.
Your parents did not want to have those conversations. No, they didn't.
That's not me. That's my parents.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't think of a topic or a conversation that I have not had or am trying to avoid having with any of our kids that I think of as a hard conversation. Like, I'm not dreading any of these things. They
hard
might
is
be.
the wrong word.
No, I think for many people it is.
Uncomfortable is the right word.
I am leaning into this.
Yeah.
And they probably would feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think with Jay, it's a conversation about, owls and wasps. That's what they call it these days.
I understand.
Kids.
Thank you.
With Zara, it's not. I think it's more a conversation about bodily changes, and then that conversation will come shortly after.
Of course, because of their age difference, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The conversations have to be age appropriate.
Right. But I am not worried or made uncomfortable.
Right.
But it's with him, it's due now. And we've touched on the topic.
I think it might be a little overdue.
Yeah, we've touched on the topic in our recent father-son travels to a certain extent.
Okay. How so?
I took him for a pornographic film.
What's wrong with you?
Actually, that's not true.
This is why I think that you have these conversations like this, like with a lot of humor.
Why?
Because they made you so uncomfortable when you were younger. Your parents didn't even have them.
What
they couldn't even have them.
What discomfort are you referring to?
You're just mocking
I think you're making
everything.
it up.
No, I want to know how you have these kinds of conversations.
You got to get a donut and a hot dog. Because you got to eat a good meal and have dessert first, so you're full. Okay?
Okay.
Then when you're full, You talk about the owls and why there's so many of them, and the wasps. And
did you really try to have this conversation with him?
Which conversation are you referring to?
The wasps and the owls.
It was a hoot. I did have the conversation. It was a little, stingy at first, but then...
So I have tried to have conversations with Jay just about, like, do you like this girl?
Yeah.
Or it's okay if you like this girl. And one day I remember we had an argument about something. I caught him in a lie.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, like, the thing that bothers me is not what you're lying about. It's the fact that you're lying. And in that conversation, I threw in sort of a, like, I know that you want to talk to girls. I know that you might be chatting with girls right now. And quite frankly, it does not bother me. I don't care who you're chatting with. What I care about is the fact that you're trying to sneak out of this situation because you weren't supposed to be on your iPad. That's the issue. It was 11:30 at night. I caught you on your iPad. Again, it's irrelevant to me if you're talking to girls, if you have a girlfriend, if you don't. He said, but I don't have a girlfriend. And I said, it doesn't matter. Again, what you're trying to hide from me, these are the things that I really they don't bother me. The thing that bothers me is the value here that you're trying to lie about it. And I want, like, my goal with approaching these kinds of conversations is 100% honesty and not making it uncomfortable for them, but really not making it a big deal, because I think that's where the discomfort comes from. Like when, you want to tell your parent that, oh, I like this girl, I have this girlfriend, and you're worried that they're going to make a big deal about it. They're going to tell their friends. They're going to talk about it amongst themselves with other parents, like that. Those are the things that maybe make the kid uncomfortable.
The same kid that sees you have millions of people that listen to what you say, so you started a podcast and you're going to talk about him.
But I'm not going to talk about him when we're talking. No, when we're talking about these hard conversations. Why not?
Because who knows? You're telling everyone. You're not even telling his friends. You're advertising it like this, you're like, people of Samoa.
I'm not telling his secrets. Like I would never.
I told him, if you have a girlfriend before 18, I'll beat you with a stick. I don't mind if you use your iPad till midnight, but no girlfriends.
So that's why he was lying to me?
I don't know. Maybe he was lying to me.
About what?
He told me I have a girlfriend. I wasn't on the iPad.
No.
He said I was in the room with my girlfriend. I said, okay, good. As long as the iPad was downstairs, we're good.
I think that we're just getting into this world of having conversations. We've just scratched the surface. I feel like if your kid is telling you that they're ready for that conversation, I've had conversations with Zara earlier than I thought she was ready to hear them. Like in my heart, I wanted to have them with her 2-3 years from then. But she came to me with some information, some questions, and I gave her the answer she was looking for. And of course, it has to be age appropriate. But I do feel like it's important to give your kids that comfort that they can come to you for all these things, these hard conversations.
How do you give them the comfort?
By answering them when they come to you and not shaming them or not turning them away. So I'll give you an example. Zara was about 7 years old, maybe even 6. This was many years ago. So Zara and I were at the beach. And at the end of the day, we came back to the house and she was going for a shower. And back then, when Zara was that little, I would just get in the shower with her and everything, we're very comfortable with each other, with the girls. Like we're all kind of in the bathroom together getting ourselves ready for the shower. So I was going to jump in the shower and then she said, okay, Mama, are you coming? And I said, you know what? Not today. And she said, why not? And I said, sweetheart, you go ahead. And her cousin was with her. And so I was going to put them in the shower together. And she said, is it because you have your period? And she completely caught me off guard because I didn't think that my 6 or 7-year-old knew what a period was. And I said, actually, yes, it's because I have my period. And her little cousin looks over at her and she says, what's a period? And she went on to explain exactly what a period was. And my niece asked her, she's like, how, why does that happen? And she said, oh, it happens once a month. And she was giving off like perfect answers. She described what kinds of products were used during a woman's cycle. And she went on and on. She had all this information. And I looked at her and I said, Zara, how do you know all of this? And this was, if you guys have been here for a little while, you know the story about what Zara came to you and called the product that you use when you have your period.
Tampons. Yep.
She said women can use sanitary napkins or they can use cotton tampons. And I was completely floored. It was very funny. But I asked her, I said, where did you learn about this? And she said, I learned from the American Girl doll books.
Yep, because dolls have periods, apparently.
So there is a book.
In chapter 2, they have periods.
No.
Chapter 1, they're all good.
There is a book, the American Girl doll books. There are 3 books all about your body and how it changes. And I got her book 1.
Yep.
And she read through book 1. And she
loved it.
She loved it, and it was very age appropriate.
Yeah.
And then she
came to Target with me.
And
she said, I want this book. And I said, which book? And she said, the American Doll book. And I said, okay. And we went to the aisle.
Yeah.
And she pulls book 2. And I say, oh, what about book 1? And she says, oh, I've read book 1. Mama got it for me.
Yeah.
So I say, oh, okay, you can get book 2.
Yep.
Because who in their right mind has a book 1 that's age appropriate for 6-year-olds, but a book 2 that talks about cotton tampons? Who does that? So I didn't even flip the book. I'm like, oh, Mama said good for the series. She got book 1 in the series.
Say good.
No, but I said she's good with book 1.
Yes.
Book 2 is not going to turn into like this.
Yep.
Book 2 is a biology book from the high school, apparently.
So book
or from
1
middle school.
is totally age appropriate for
this
6,
is a doll.
7, 8 maybe. And then you have to wait until your child is ready to read book 2.
Yeah, no disclaimers. Just the same cover. Book 1, book 2, no problem. Same thing. It goes from like...
So Zara actually devoured the entire book.
Yeah.
She had no clue what she was in for.
Sci-fi.
Huh?
It was science fiction for her.
She read it, she learned, she absorbed it, and then she came with questions. And so I, at 7 years old, I had to have that conversation.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I had that conversation with her, and she was ready for it. And the fact that I didn't make it uncomfortable, the fact that I answered all of her questions, I think was a really nice, healthy first step.
Do people make conversations uncomfortable? Like, why would you not answer her questions?
I remember only ever talking about my period with my mother after I got my period. I was like, oh my God, I'm dying. Yeah. What is happening? And then she's like,
don't worry. Fine. Here's this American Doll book. Read it.
No.
Sit over there and read it.
Put this on and you'll be fine. Like,
she gave you a Band-Aid. That's what I gave Jay. That was for Zara, the Band-Aid?
She did not
Band-Aids
give me
don't work for that. Like, here you go. Put this Band-Aid. No, not there, silly. Put it in your underwear. They fold around like this.
Exactly.
Reverse wings.
Why do we have to wait until after the thing has happened? Like,
you don't.
Zara's perfectly ready. She's completely
She's practicing.
Ready. No, she's not.
Taking Gatorades and pouring it. She's checking the absorption value to make sure she understands. Yeah, she's like a scientist. You haven't seen her? She's like, oh, for 8-ounce flow, tampons are no good. She wears her glasses and everything.
Do you know how tampons work?
Me? Yeah. You put them inside. There's like a mouse tail.
I'm going to show you how tampons work one of these days.
Okay, wait. But before that, let's just take a quick pause for a word from our sponsor.
Sounds good. When it comes to hiring, don't go searching for the one. Just meet your match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work, use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agreed Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. I remember when I was looking to hire somebody, it was so slow and overwhelming. I wish I had used Indeed. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences, so the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your job more visibility at Indeed.com/Sheena. Just go to Indeed.com/Sheena right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/Sheena. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
And we're back.
We're back.
Yeah, I can do an experiment too.
Yeah, I'll do an experiment with you. I'm going to show
There's
you.
There's an applicator.
Yeah.
She told me. When I drive her places, she explains the science behind tampons.
That's another thing I heard. When you're in the car, sometimes parents feel that that's a better place to have these kinds of conversations because you can see how your kids are feeling, but they don't necessarily have to have eye contact. And so they are more comfortable talking about it if they're uncomfortable.
This is where we have a lot of conversations in the car.
Yep.
Or at bedtime.
Yeah.
If you go and lay down with them, they start talking about all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Both scenarios, they feel comfortable because you're there, but they're not staring you in the eye. There's none of that. So, and also the bonus of the nighttime conversation is they'll say anything so you don't leave.
Yeah,
so they don't have to go to bed.
Yeah.
So you have to discredit half of what they're saying. It could be made up.
No, I don't think it's made up. I really do think that there's a fact, like there's truth to that. They are more willing to open up because they don't want you to leave.
Yeah.
And play that to your advantage. Those are the times when we have some of the nicest conversations, most truthful, most wholesome, and most honest. Like really raw and honest.
Yep.
I think that it's important to have those conversations even if you're uncomfortable. And maybe you're not uncomfortable, but a lot of people are. A lot of people feel like they don't want to talk to their sons. Like moms will feel like they don't want to talk to their sons about what's going to happen in the morning. They don't want to talk to their boys
what happens
about...
in the morning?
I don't want to talk about it on this podcast. Don't even
Can
want
you
to talk...
tell me after? Because I'm not familiar with...
What happens to men in the morning?
Yeah.
You know what happens to men in the morning.
What happens in the morning?
It happens to you in the morning.
What is it?
Something comes to say hello.
Does it happen at night?
No, it's a morning thing.
Who said?
Well, it also happens at night. But
Where? This is why you're not equipped to have these conversations. Just saying stuff.
I'm not just saying stuff.
Okay, so you're gonna. I just want to watch you explain this to our son. Who's gonna look at you with confused face.
So here's what I would like for us to have happen. Yeah. I would like for you to have the conversation, but I would also like to be around.
Why?
Because it's important for him to know that I'm okay having these kinds of conversations.
Yeah, and you'll just sit there giggling. Be like, oh, tell him about the morning part. And I'll be like, what are you talking about?
Because you're going to gaslight
confusion.
me into thinking that there's nothing special that happens in the morning.
You're special, that's why.
What? I'm not special.
Are you uncomfortable?
Yes.
Is that why you wear the sweater with holes? You can air out. So you're fine talking to your kid about paper or plastic.
Yeah.
From the tampoon world.
Yep.
Because she wanted to know.
Yeah, she wanted to know. If he wanted to know, I would absolutely be 100% comfortable
Googling it with him because you have no idea.
Yeah,
You'd just
maybe.
be like, okay, let's go look this up. I think you can tell your child if you're hoping.
Yeah.
Now for you, this is not for you, maybe it's like a big deal. For me, I don't think it's as much of a big deal.
What?
The conversation part of it.
Okay.
But for sure for the kids, it's a bigger deal than for the parent. Right? Like it's more embarrassing for the child. So in that scenario, you might want to think about whether you think your child's going to be more open if they've got both parents around or other people around versus if they would feel more comfortable asking their questions and having a conversation with just one parent. And then whichever parent that is that they have that comfort with can say, hey, you have to feel comfortable having this conversation with this other adult, or like, if I'm not here or whatever it is. You know, some kids or parents are single parents, so that's not even a possibility in those scenarios. Yeah. But where you have that, I think it's okay to have the conversation with the parent that feels more
I absolutely
or better
do
equipped
too,
to manage it.
But I also, like, we both travel for our work and we both spend time where we're, you know, you're out for long periods. It's important for him to know that he can also come to me, that I have the same information that he does.
Yeah, so maybe it's good to have two conversations.
Sure.
Back to back and sort of say, okay, here, I know you spoke to, you know, your dad or whatever, but I want you to know that, you know, and then he can just cringe in the corner and that's it and go on from there. Yeah. The other thing to keep in mind. But how do
you avoid the cringing? That's
you
the
don't.
issue.
It's normal. It's absolutely normal behavior for a kid who's 13 years old.
I get it.
To cringe at the thought of his parents knowing about that part of his life.
I get it. Having said that, I've seen that there are people that have these conversations with their children from both sexes. Like, they've nailed it. They've got it completely down to a science. And I think...
What science? There is no science about this.
There is. Like, some people are so factual about it. They're literally just stating facts.
Yeah, and they can do that. And then you turn something that maybe should have some element of delicacy when you approach it into something that's absolutely factual. There's a trade-off in everything. Yeah. So if you turn it into an encyclopedic conversation, then you're also removing some of the magic and mystery that comes with certain parts of life.
Right.
So there's no such thing as some people have nailed it. I don't agree with that at all. You have to find what fits your person, right? Your child, your environment. Yeah. And as long as that child is comfortable, they will come to you. Yeah. They don't need to come to you just for the sake of a parent feeling like, oh, yes, my child speaks to me. This isn't about the parent. Yeah. It's about the kid.
Absolutely.
Let the kid live their life. Let the kid come when they're ready. Our goal is to make sure they don't make any mistakes. Yeah. That's the biggest thing, which is why you broach the subject about how serious it is. Yeah. But after that, it's just, I think it's touching on topics to say, hey, you're reaching this phase in your life. You're going to be interested in the opposite sex, or you're going to be interested in different things. And I've been through all of that, right?
But I also think it's important for them to know that you've been through all of that. I've been on the other side of it.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Both parents can say we've been there. Really like there's perspective.
It's important for Jay, for example, to know that while he may be interested in girls, I can offer a female perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's really important you're right in saying that it's not about the parent feeling this satisfaction that I am capable of doing this. We have to be. As a parent, you're thrown into this world and you just have to become capable of having all these conversations and doing all the things and reaching all the places. Like you have to, that is the job of a parent. But for the kid to walk away knowing that my parents can add value here, and they have that confidence to come to you whenever they should require it, I think is the goal.
Yeah, I don't think one parent having a conversation discredits the other. That's not what I meant. And I didn't mean the other parent cannot add value. Mm-hmm. I just meant whichever one is speaking will share, I've experienced this. Yeah. So if it's, in our example, it would be, I've experienced this from the side of a young boy who was growing up and interested in girls. And you can say, I've experienced the side of getting that sort of attention or myself starting to be interested. So I think there's value in that. I think this bigger concept is where the pressure comes. I think if we feel it to a certain extent, the kids feel it tenfold. Yeah. They're in rooms with their friends and they're saying, oh my God, you can't believe what my dad or my mom said to me yesterday. Right. That's so lame. Like that's what's expected. Mm-hmm. We are lame. Like he has to say that. Right. Even if he doesn't feel it, that's part of the side of growing up. Yeah. You have to remember what we were like at that age. Yeah. And then we just allow ourselves to be accessible because these kids, they look like adults, but they're really children, and that's the danger. Yeah. They act, his foot's bigger than yours. He's wearing my shoes. He's soon going to be bigger than both of us. Mm-hmm. But at his core, he's just not there yet. Yeah. So it's that balance of, okay, you can be this outside, tough, grown-up person, but know that at the end of the day, we're still here. And as long as, and I know he already knows this, right? As long as they understand the absolute seriousness that's attached to certain physical acts, I think we've done our job on that front. Yeah. And then the bigger challenge is making sure that they grow up emotionally in a way where they're decent. They understand you don't talk to people a certain way. Yeah. They're going to go through scenarios where people are going to be mean to them. And that's where I think our bigger responsibility lies. And those aren't hard conversations. Those are conversations that you hope they're comfortable having with you. Yeah. And I think that only happens if you don't jam hard conversations with your kids. I think you'll push them away. Right. So I don't know, maybe that's an unorthodox view.
No, it's not. I think and that's sort of how we've handled things thus far. The other thing that I thought of as you were talking about it is sometimes people will want to have these conversations in a way that's so lighthearted that they're almost like, I'm talking to my friend. Mm. You don't have to be friends with your kids. Like, it's okay for your kids to know that you're their parent. There's plenty of time for you to be their friends when they're older. Like now is the time for them to also have that comfort in knowing these are people that they don't have all the answers, but they have a lot of experience. They have a lot more than I do. Mm-hmm. And so even if they don't have the exact solution, they can help me find one.
Yeah. I agree with all that.
I think that's really, really important. And for many, many years, I felt, oh, like as they get older, I'll be more friends with them because I want to be friendly, but I don't. I actually, as I grow as a mom, I don't want to be friends with my kids right now. I want to be their parent. I want them to find comfort in knowing that I can help them go through these difficult situations.
I think we are mentors to our children. Mm-hmm. We are the number one example of what they think they should look like as adults. We're the only adults they really know, right? So it's not the conversation. It's not this is what you do, this is what you don't do. Yes, there are certain lessons in there, but the way I think about it is you're on display 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
You're leading by example.
Yeah.
You can have a conversation, but for me, it's just as important for them to see the conversation you're having with the neighbor, or the conversation you're having with your friend, or the conversation you're having with someone who cut you off in traffic. Right. Like that's the real work. Yeah. That's the hard work. When you're, it's easy to be on when your kids are with you. Yeah. It's hard when that's a different person.
And when you actually think like I have to be on for this particular conversation.
Because they're here, but they're in the backseat of the car when you're driving and you're yelling at another driver. Yeah. Your kid's watching that. Yeah. They're with you when you're in the grocery store and the person's taking too long to give you your change. Yeah. They're with you when you're staring at your phone at dinner, waiting for someone to show up with the menu. Yeah. Like all those snarky remarks and this and that, they're learning all of that behavior. Yeah. So the real hard conversation for all of us that we should be striving for is with ourselves. Be the best person you can be. Don't worry about these one-off things. Like, don't worry about the Hallmark movie card conversations that you have to have. Like, show your kid love. Show them affection, not only with them, but with the other people in your life. That's the hard work. But that's our work to do.
Wow. Fantastic.
What happened here?
I think we're done.
I don't know what's happening here, but I'm having a spiritual moment.
That was wonderful. It took us a minute to get here, but you got here.
But it's true.
It's 100% true. You're 100% right. I think that you nailed it. Like these hard conversations, okay, they're hard. You have to have them. But really the hardest part is the conversation you're having with yourself. You said it beautifully.
So I can go?
Yeah, we can go.
You're going to sing?
What should I sing?
So you know which song is perfect?
Which?
For this?
Tell me.
Better. You know the song I wrote that you sang, your first release?
Yeah, I know that
one. Our co-production?
Pretty well.
That should be what you want your child to be saying to you.
Yeah.
As they grow up.
That's really sweet.
Right?
So poetic. You make me stronger. You make me bolder. You are the reason I stand tall. I really see you. You rise above it all. You leave your mark on every wall. You always catch me when I fall.
So imagine that. That's your goal.
Yeah.
If you couldn't do it for yourself, you couldn't do it for your spouse.
Yeah.
Do it for your kids, if you have kids.
Yeah.
Then maybe you also will leave the world a better place because you left better people. That's your goal as a parent.
Yeah.
For your kids to have a better life.
Yeah.
And to leave a better mark than you did.
Human beings and be better than you were.
Yeah.
Absolutely. On that note, see you guys next week.